Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. This is Tosif starting a live stream Sunday night. The weekend is coming to an end. Tomorrow is Monday, and in less than an hour it's going to be Monday. So the weekend is coming to an end, but our questions are just getting started. We have so many questions that it's a long list. We can try to guess the answers. We can try to search for the answers, or we can just wait to see what happens. Sounds a little vague, right? You're probably wondering, what is Tosif talking about? What topic is he going to be discussing today? Well, I'll get to that. I'll get to that, my friends. It's good to see Frank here. Frank from Florida, wonderful. Frank, thanks for being here. Our friend Bree from Michigan is joining us. Bree, so great to see you. My friends, let me get to the point. Anxious people are asking, what will the next 8 years look like in New York City? Well, am I able to predict the future? My friends, you've known me for a while. You've known me for a few months, more than a year, almost 2 years, as I've been doing these live streams since January of 2024. I've discussed so many different things, talked about so many different topics, issues. I mean, it's a long list. So when somebody asks me the question, what will the next 8 years look like in New York City? Do you think I'm able to predict the future? Do you think that I have the ability to predict what's going to happen in the future? I mean, we're talking about a time span of 8 years into the future. That is the question that is coming up now, believe it or not. And you may be confused. Well, you'll understand what I'm talking about as we move forward in this discussion. 8 years. People are not asking about the next 4 years. People are asking about the next 8 years in New York City. Now, I cannot predict the future, my friends. I don't have that ability. There's no crystal ball that I look at where I can see the future. I don't have spiritual powers that I can just close my eyes and go into deep meditation and, oh, now I can see the future. I can't. There's no way to know what's going to happen. I understand. You have the question. You may ask me, Tosif, what do the next 8 years look like for New York City? But sadly, I am not able to answer that question. I just can't. There's no time machine. There's no way for me to somehow get transported to the year 2033 and tell you, hey, this is what I'm seeing. My friends, you have to ask those people who voted for a communist for mayor. That's right. If you want to get an answer to the question, what do the next 8 years look like in New York City? Ask this question to those voters who voted for Zohran Mamdani, made him the mayor-elect by voting for him, a communist. Ask them that question. Ask them, what do the next 8 years look like? Now, of course, some of you are probably a little alarmed. I don't blame you. You're probably saying, Tausif, are you making a mistake? You're talking about 8 years? Oh, I thought that a mayoral term is only 4 years. So why are you talking about 8 years? My friends, I'm going to come to that point. Just stay here. In New York City, a person can serve as the mayor a total of 2 terms, each term being 4 years long. And so the maximum number of years that Zohran Mamdani, the communist, can serve as the mayor of New York is actually 8 years. Of course, at the end of the 4-year period, he has to get reelected should he decide to run for reelection. And if he gets reelected, he serves another term. So that makes it a total of 8 years. You are looking at a possibility of an 8-year term, like an 8-year period of 2 terms, a combined 8-year period in New York City with a communist mayor. Now, you're probably upset. You're probably saying, Tausif, you're presenting a nightmare scenario. Why are you doing that? It's Sunday night. We're looking forward to a new week, Monday morning. We got a lot of work to do. It's going to be a busy week. I'm going to wake up in the morning. I'm going to go to work. I got things to do. I got a huge checklist, lots of different tasks. I want to start my week on a positive note. And here you are talking about the possibility that Zohran Mamdani could serve as the mayor of New York City for 2 terms, back to back, 8 years total. That's not what we want to hear, Tausif. So why are you doing this? This is nightmare. My friends, I gotta share with you the facts. And this is a question that is coming up. 8 years. People are thinking about the next 8 years in New York City. Given the scenario that Mamdani gets to serve for 2 terms, for a total of 8 years. Now, my friends, if you are saying, all right, Tausif, Mamdani is probably going to serve for 1 term. He's probably going to serve for just 1 term, and then he either decides not to seek re-election or he seeks re-election and then he gets defeated. Well, so it's going to be just 1 term. It's going to be a period of 4 years that we're going to have to deal with. My friends, I'm going to tell you, don't be so sure. Do not be so sure. There's no guarantee. Steven's here. Hi, Steven. Good to see you. Good to see you, Steven. Who else did I miss? Zachary is here. Zachary, good to see you, Zachary. And there are others who are tuning in. Thank you all for being here. You know, I want to pause and always acknowledge the friends of this community. So thank you all. Thank you all for being here. And I know there are others over here. Evelyn's here. Evelyn, please say hello to our friend Evelyn. Goes by the name EHR. Evelyn from Las Vegas, Nevada. Thank you, Evelyn, for being here. So let's just continue. Do not be so sure that Mamdani is going to serve for a period of 4 years only, and that's it. I mean, who could have thought that this man, a communist, Zohran Mamdani the communist, who could have thought that he's going to be elected to serve as the mayor of one of the greatest cities in the world? That's right. I mean, you go anywhere in the world, Everybody knows about New York City. Everyone, I mean, it's the reality. New York City, every corner of the world, in every corner of the world, people know that there's this glorious city called New York City. It was a glorious city. Over the last several years, we have seen how woke policies have caused a lot of devastation in New York City. The economy of New York City going downhill. The far left causing chaos in New York City. But once upon a time, it was a great city. And hopefully, in the future, once again, it'll be a great city. But given the current reality that the New York City voters chose Zohran Mamdani, the communist, to be the mayor, things are looking pretty scary for New York. That's right. My friends, once again, going back to how long, going back to talking about how long you think Zohran Mamdani might serve, you might think, all right, he got elected. How about he serves one term and then he either doesn't run for re-election or runs and loses? How can you be so sure? How can you be so sure? Listen, you have to understand one thing. When we are talking about Democrats, I'm going to tell you that the Democrats, they have a way to hold on to power. They somehow hold on to power. Once they get a powerful position, they hold on to it. Or from there, they keep climbing. My friends, I'm going to give you an example. An example of how Democrats just continue to be in office, in public office, for a very long time. And I'm not going to go too far. We're talking about New York, right? We're talking about New York. How about I give you an example from New York? Know a guy by the name of Chuck Schumer? Have you ever heard that name? Chuck Schumer? The leader of the Senate Democrats, Chuck Schumer? That's right, Chuck Schumer is from New York. He represents New York. Any idea how long Chuck Schumer has been in office, in public office? I'm not even talking about, I'm not talking about the Senate only. Just like in public office. You got any idea? Evelyn is saying too long. Any idea how far back in time do we have to go to trace when Chuck Schumer first got elected to public office? Let me tell you. You can look this up. You don't have to rely on my answers. My friends, Chuck Schumer was first elected to New York State Assembly in 1974. Now let me tell you, let me ask you, where were you in 1974? Tell me. What were you doing in 1974? Ask yourself. Well, if you ask me, Tausif, what were you doing in 1974? Why are you asking us? Why don't you tell us what you were busy with in 1974? Well, in 1974, I wasn't even born. So I can't answer that question. I wasn't around in 1974. All right? I wasn't here, so I can't answer. But if you were around, tell me, what were you doing in 1974? That's the year when Chuck Schumer was elected to New York State Assembly. All right. And then Chuck Schumer went on to become a member of Congress, and he was actually elected to the Senate in 1998. All right? So, elected to New York State Assembly in 1974, and then one office after another. He's now in the Senate. He has been in the Senate after he was elected to the Senate in 1998, and he's still in office. Chuck Schumer's still in office. This man from New York, who was elected to the New York State Assembly in 1974, still in office in the US Senate, now as the minority leader, because the Democrats are the minority in the Senate right now, as you know, because the Republicans have 53 seats, so the Democrats are the minority. But Chuck Schumer is the leader of the Democrats, and he was the majority leader also when the Democrats were in charge, in control of the Senate. But that changed. We regained the majority in the Senate, we meaning the Republicans, and Chuck Schumer became the minority leader. So that's an example from New York of a man who was elected to the New York State Assembly in 1974 and continues to be in politics, continues to be in public office. He's a senior citizen, he's still in office for decades. So, now let's talk about Zohran Mamdani, the communist mayor-elect, not officially sworn in yet. Okay, mayor-elect. He also held the title of New York State Assembly member, and now he's the mayor-elect in New York City. So, you may want to guess that Mamdani is also likely going to have a very long career in politics. There's no guarantee. We cannot enter the mind of Zohran Mamdani. We don't know what he's thinking. We don't know what steps he's planning. We don't know what his goals are for his own self. Does he want to be in politics forever? Does he want to climb the political ladder? We don't know. We don't know what he's planning. But we do know that he is the mayor-elect right now. Very soon he is going to be sworn in as the mayor. And being the mayor of a city like New York City, it's a very powerful position. You got to understand that. We're not talking about, a city of, 25,000 people, which, 25,000, large number, but still pretty small when you look at the bigger picture. We're not talking about the mayor of a city of 25,000 people, 50,000 people, even 100,000 people. We're talking about a city of millions of people, New York City. And Zohran Mamdani is going to be sworn in as the mayor very soon. So, from here, is he going to be climbing the political ladder like Chuck Schumer did? Who knows? Who knows? We're going to have to wait and see. Now, I know some very enthusiastic folks out there might be saying, oh, Tassif, stop. We've listened to you for 18 minutes. Now it's time for us to say something. We're not going to listen to you anymore. Because what we're going to tell you is Mamdani is going to be a mayor for only one term. And if he runs for re-election, we're going to defeat him. We're going to defeat Mamdani. So it's only one term that he's going to be serving, because he will be defeated if and when he runs for re-election, my friends. Check out reality. Andrew Cuomo could not defeat this guy. Andrew Cuomo, who is a very strong Democrat establishment figure, could not defeat Zohran Mamdani. Andrew Cuomo was compelled to run as an independent, still could not defeat Zohran Mamdani. If anyone could have defeated Zohran Mamdani, it would have been another Democrat. All right? I know it sounds strange, but yeah, given the field of candidates in New York City as we saw in this election, There was no chance that Republican Curtis Sliwa could defeat Zohran Mamdani. There was just no chance, all right? It's kind of sad, but statistically, you got to look at the numbers. But if anyone could have defeated Mamdani, that would have been Cuomo. Now, like Cuomo or not, whether you like or you don't like Cuomo, doesn't matter. The fact is, if somebody could have defeated Mamdani, it would have been Cuomo. And even he could not. So, you got to understand that now, after being sworn in, after he's going to be sworn in, this is going to happen in January, I think, Mamdani will become the incumbent. As soon as he officially becomes the mayor, he's going to be incumbent. So if he decides to run for re-election, he's going to be running as an incumbent, and it is very hard to defeat an incumbent, especially if it's a Democrat incumbent in a Democrat-heavy jurisdiction. All right? This is not a, we talk about the purple states, right? Purple states. A lot of people say Wisconsin is a purple state. I'm not going to debate that claim. But anyway, I'm not going to say if I think Wisconsin is a purple state or not. But I'm just stating what people say. People say, "Oh, Wisconsin is a purple state." So when you look at New York City, it is not a purple city. It's a very, very blue city, Democrat-heavy city. And so Zohran Mamdani, as a Democrat mayor, which he's soon going to be officially, if he's going to be running for re-election 4 years down the road, he's going to be running in a heavily Democrat jurisdiction as a Democrat incumbent mayor running for re-election. So just keeping everything else aside, just that fact is going to make it very difficult for someone to defeat him. Okay, especially Republicans. It'll be very difficult to defeat Mamdani, and that's a fact. Now, a lot can change in 4 years, so I don't know. I mean, so many things can happen. People's mindset can change. The electorate could have a different mindset 4 years from now. I don't know, but it's difficult to defeat an incumbent. That's a general rule. I don't know if the right word is rule, but that's a general understanding. If you are a Democrat incumbent in a Democrat-heavy jurisdiction, it's hard to defeat that person. Same for Republicans. If you are a Republican senator in a heavily, heavily red state, and if you're running for re-election, if it's very likely as a Republican incumbent in a Republican heavy state, you're likely going to be re-elected. Okay. So, my friends, if you are thinking Mamdani is going to be there just for one term, well, think again. He may get re-elected. I don't want to make a prediction. Now, if his first term in office is a complete disaster, then he might get voted out. But you may not end up getting a Republican mayor. You may end up getting another Democrat, but maybe a different Democrat. Somebody who may be able to defeat Mamdani should Mamdani seek re-election. But you cannot count on it. You cannot count on that possibility. New York City has gone so far left that there seems to be no hope for logic and reason to prevail. All right? So far left. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable how far left New York City has gone. Our friend Kay Cooper is here. Kay, good to see you. Thank you for being here. And others who are joining, thank you all. My friends, please make sure that you're subscribing. You got to subscribe and stay connected, all right? Please hit the subscribe button. Be a part of this community. All right. So, Let me just continue here. It's just a big unknown at this point. What happens? What happens? Okay, Mamdani made promises before the election, right? What happens if Mamdani fulfills the promises that he made, which would clearly take New York City towards socialism and maybe towards full-scale communism? If Mamdani fulfills his promises, because his promises were socialist communist policies. So if he fulfills his promises, then the city will be pushed towards socialism and, as I said, maybe full-scale communism. And if that happens, sadly, the city is going to suffer. If that happens, I mean, this is the strange part. Mamdani made promises before the election, and if he fulfills the promises that he made, then the city is going to suffer greatly. And this is the part that is so hard to understand. The New York City voters voted for this guy because they want this guy to fulfill the promises that he made during the campaign. But sadly, if he fulfills the promises, then the voters who voted for him are the ones who are going to suffer. This is such a strange scenario that I just don't know how to process this. The voters of New York City voted for a guy who made certain promises, and they voted for him because they want him to fulfill the promises. But if he fulfills the promises, then the ones who voted for him are the ones who are going to be hurt economically, financially. I don't know what to say. Should I just end this live stream? Like, that's it? Tassif, it is so confusing. You don't know what to say. We don't know what to think. We don't know what's going on. So just let's not discuss this any further. Should we just end it for tonight? No, we gotta go on. We gotta go on, and the reason being that it is always the goal of this channel to present the truth. The truth may be beautiful, the truth may be bitter, the truth may be difficult to absorb, difficult to understand, but we have to continue to speak the truth. And that is what I'm doing. So stay here with me. We got a lot more to talk about. Do not go. And I see our friend Audrey Ann from Long Island is here. Audrey, good to see you. Audrey, thanks for being here. And all the other friends, please introduce yourself. Those who are new here, introduce yourself. If you believe in making America great again, introduce yourself and be a part of this community. I got a lot more to talk about. Do not go anywhere. So, my friends, if Mamdani fulfills the promises that he made, that will severely and adversely affect New York City's economy and the residents. The people will suffer if Mamdani fulfills his campaign promises. If Mamdani really implements his socialist policies, then the people of New York will suffer. And at that point, the city's residents will realize what a great mistake they made by voting for this man named Zohran Mamdani. But then, you get what you voted for, right? If you are making the wrong choice when you got your ballot in hand and you have to decide who to vote for, if you are making the wrong decision at the ballot box, my friends, who are you going to blame? Mamdani made it very clear that his policies are going to be very, very socialist. So if he fulfills the promises, and if you see that the city is going downhill, the economy is going downhill, are you going to be able to blame Mamdani. He's just doing what he promised. At some point, you're going to have to blame yourself for voting for Mamdani. That's right. I mean, it's a unique situation in New York City. If the voters get what they voted for, then the quality of life in New York City will be reduced significantly because there will be economic problems. Businesses will leave the city, residents will pack up and leave. In fact, many residents are already getting ready to leave. They're packing up. They're packing up. I gotta tell you this, and if you live in New York City, you probably know this already. A lot of New York City residents, they got their suitcases ready. They're emptying their closets, putting everything in suitcases, putting everything in boxes. They got their household. They're taking stuff out of the cabinet. They're putting everything in boxes. They're talking to the movers. They're looking for moving trucks. They're getting ready to haul their furniture out onto the moving trucks. They're looking for new opportunities in places like Florida, in places like Texas, in places like Tennessee. People are getting ready to leave New York City. Believe me, you're going to see a mass exodus. It's going to happen. Lots and lots of people leaving New York City. It's going to happen because there's no way that people will want to stay in that city. People who understand economics, people who understand how society works, how government works, people who understand the importance of limited government and a thriving private market, private sector. They're not going to stay in New York City anymore. They are getting ready to leave. You're going to see this. It's already happening. The wheels are turning. The process is ongoing. And if you have friends in New York City, talk to them. Ask them how they are feeling. And to most people you talk, you're the reasonable people, you're probably going to hear the frustration in their voice, and you're going to hear their words of sorrow. People are getting ready to leave New York City. My friends, what's going to happen when businesses leave New York? What's going to happen when residents pack up and leave? And you know what? One of the biggest concerns that people have is that crime problems may increase. Crime problems may increase. Why? Because we know, this is a fact, that Zohran Mamdani has a history of supporting this idea of defunding the police. Oh my God. Anti-cop policy position. He wants to defund the police. All you got to do is look at the history of the things he said. Revisit the history. Look at the things he said. Just dig up those old quotes from Zohran Mamdani. He wants to defund the police. My friends, in fact, and there's news already. Go look it up. Go look it up. Police officers are getting ready to leave. In fact, there's a strong possibility that police officers may resign from their jobs and look for opportunities elsewhere where they are going to be appreciated. Communities that support law enforcement, communities that back the blue, communities that back the badge. New York City police officers are likely, many of them are likely to leave New York City and go to other places in Florida, places in Tennessee, in Texas, and there are other states where they are going to be appreciated. And then a lot of New York City police officers may retire early because they may not want to work when the city is run by a socialist Zohran Mamdani. He's not in office yet, but he will be after his swearing in. Because the police officers may not want to work when a city is run by a socialist, a communist actually, and a candidate who has a history of being anti-cop. My friends, I still cannot figure out. I just can't. I still cannot figure out how the people of New York voted for this guy. How did we get to this point? We thought we defeated communism. We thought we made it very clear to the population that socialism, communism will never work. I thought the whole world understands this. That socialism doesn't work, that communism doesn't work. And here in New York, people voted for a communist, put him in charge in the office of the mayor. My friends, it's just mind-boggling how in this day and age people voted for a candidate like this. A defund the police candidate, a socialist candidate, a full-scale communist candidate. I just don't understand it. Now, of course, Mamdani tried to change his tune as he was campaigning. He changed his tune. When all those old quotes and the things he said in the past, people started to bring those to the country's attention. Like, oh, all the anti-cop stuff that he said, when people were digging up those old remarks and bringing it to everyone's attention, Mamdani tried to change his tune. He softened his tone regarding police. You could see that. You could hear it. He changed his tune. He softened his tone. And we all know why. Just to earn the votes. Just to earn the votes. But now, he's the mayor-elect. He's the mayor-elect in New York City. He is soon going to be sworn in as the mayor of New York City. Now, do not be surprised if, after being sworn in, he double downs on the things that he said in the past. Now he has accomplished what he wanted to. He has won. So we saw a period when Mamdani softened his tone regarding police, softened his tone. He tried to present himself as this reasonable individual. But now that he's the mayor-elect, as soon as he gets sworn in, he may just go back to being the original Mamdani, the defund the police Mamdani. He may double down on the things he said in the past. There's a real possibility that Zohran Mamdani may try to defund the police. It may happen. Keep an eye on the news. And you got to pay attention to Mamdani's first 100 days in office. Very, very crucial. You got to look for the clues. You got to look for not just what you're hearing in the news, but you got to dig deeper. You got to really focus on, zoom in, and see all the details, the fine details of all the actions that Zohran Mamdani takes in the first 100 days. Look for anything that might affect the law enforcement agencies. Look for signs that Zohran Mamdani may launch a defund the police effort. Maybe it's not going to be done with a lot of publicity. I mean, if you are thinking that, oh, okay, yeah, we're going to pay attention. Maybe at some point Mamdani is going to do a press conference and there's going to be a big banner behind him. It's going to say, defund the police, press conference, Mamdani. No. maybe it's not going to be done with a lot of publicity. Maybe it's going to be very slow. Maybe it's going to be very gradual, calculated efforts taking place in small increments. Maybe it's not going to be a one-time big overhaul of the police system. Maybe it's not going to be, oh, we're going to cut, how many, pick your favorite number, millions of dollars from law enforcement. Oh, we're going to cut a few hundred police positions from the police workforce. It may not be something as big as that, which might generate a lot of attention. It might be, as I said, very slow, incremental, gradual efforts, calculated efforts to defund the police. So you have to watch closely, zoom in like a lens, like a camera lens. You can zoom in, right? Zoom in, look for the fine details of all the actions that Mayor Mamdani is going to take in the first 100 days. Now, why do I say the first 100 days? Well, he's got a 4-year term. He could start defunding the police at any point. Maybe not in the first 100 days, maybe beyond the first 100 days. But look for signs in the first 100 days. We're just going to talk about the first 100 days for now. We'll talk about what's going to happen from day number 101 and beyond later on. But just focus on the first 100 days. And the other thing is, if and when Zohran Mamdani really starts to establish government-run grocery stores, that's when the small business owners who run grocery stores in New York will really understand the destructive nature of socialism. My friends, do you know any small business owner in New York City? Do you know any small business owner in New York City who runs grocery stores? Do you know anyone like that? Tell me, anyone here from New York City? I'm sure there are folks from New York City who are watching. Maybe you're pro Mamdani, maybe you're not a Mamdani fan. Maybe you voted for Curtis Lewa, maybe you voted for Andrew Cuomo. I want to hear from you all. I want to hear from you all. By the way, my friends, if you're watching this, please subscribe. Hit the like button and subscribe. It's very important that you subscribe and stay connected. I would appreciate that very much. So, my friends, if and when Zohran Mamdani delivers on his promise of socialist policies like government-funded grocery stores, the small business owners are going to truly understand how destructive socialism is. But you know what? At that point, it's going to be too late. It is going to be too late. Once you hand over power to a socialist, once you hand over power to a communist, and then that leader starts spreading socialism and communism, at that point it is too late. If you are a small business owner who has a grocery store in New York City, and if you voted for Mamdani, and if Mamdani starts implementing government-run grocery stores, and you say, wait a second, I voted for you, but why are you doing this? Don't do this. Do something else. We thought you were going to help, but you're now establishing government-run grocery stores. That's going to hurt my business. Don't do it. It's too late at that point. It is too late. It's too late at that point. I mean, let me explain to you this with an example. So, we had a thriving economy during Donald J. Trump's first term in office. When President Trump was in office during his first term, we had such an amazing economy. People were doing great. People were making money. People had job opportunities. The wages, the salaries, the stock market, everything. Everything was doing great. Internationally, we were doing great. Domestic economy, we were doing great. Military was strong. Yes, we had challenges. We had challenges that President Trump inherited from the Obama years, because Obama did lots of things that resulted in big problems. So President Trump had to come into office and fix the problems that his administration inherited from the Obama administration. So he had to take care of all of that. But President Trump really took the economy towards prosperity. It was a thriving economy. I remember that. I remember voting for Donald Trump in 2016. I remember 2017 when President Trump was sworn into office. I remember the amazing things that he did as president. But then what happened? Then what happened? Then Biden came to power. And what widespread destruction in the economy his administration caused. Lots of economic problems caused by Biden administration's policies. For 4 years we suffered, and I talk about that quite frequently. For 4 years. 4 years of economic nightmare. 4 years of complete disaster that we faced in America. 4 years of disaster with Joe Biden in the White House. And now that Donald J. Trump is back in office, it's taking a lot of time and energy to repair all the damage done by the Biden administration. Now, President Trump, thankfully, he's doing everything at a very fast pace. He has accomplished a great deal, and it has not even been a full year in office. He has achieved a lot of things, but you know what? He's having to deal with the problems that the Biden administration created. So the Trump administration basically inherited a complete mess from the Biden administration. So the Trump administration is having to fix all the problems and then rebuild everything, rebuild our economy to take us towards greater prosperity. But thankfully, President Trump is doing that at a very fast pace. And so going back to the discussion of New York City, if Zohran Mamdani delivers on his promises of implementing socialist policies like government-funded grocery stores and free buses, free buses, and there's a lot more, then what's going to happen? There'll be so many problems in New York City that if there's a new mayor down the road, if there's a new administration that gets elected, and they come and they try to fix all the problems caused by the Mamdani administration, if Mamdani really delivers on his promises, it's going to be a mess. So a future administration will have to clean up this mess and then redirect the New York City economy towards prosperity. And there may be problems that a future administration may not be able to fix. So, kind of parallel comparison. Donald Trump is having to fix the problems caused by Biden. A future mayor may have to fix the problems that the Mamdani administration may end up creating by implementing socialist policies. So 4 years of Zohran Mamdani will change New York City forever by pushing the city towards communism. And then, even if you get a new mayor after 4 years, Let's say Mamdani serves for only 4 years and then somebody else gets elected to office, somebody with maybe very different ideological viewpoints than Mamdani. Still, it will not be possible to drag the city out of an economic crisis, a crisis that is very likely if socialist policies are implemented. And then, as I said, when there's an incumbent, the incumbent has an advantage going into a re-election campaign in general. Now, I'm not sure what it is going to be in the case of Zohran Mamdani. It's very hard to tell. I don't know. It's very hard to tell. Once again, if Mamdani fulfills his campaign promises of implementing socialist policies, then New York City will be in big trouble, and there's no way that he can get re-elected at that point. But then, if he does not fulfill his promises, then his left-wing allies may abandon him. Let's say Mamdani gets sworn in, starts his term in January, and all of a sudden he has a change in his mindset. All of a sudden, he is no longer promoting socialism or socialist policies. Then what's going to happen? His left-wing allies, the folks who got him elected, they are going to be very upset with him. They may abandon him. So I really don't know what might happen when the time comes for Zohran's re-election 4 years down the road. But some are counting on Zohran being in office for 2 full terms, each term having 4 years, so total of 8 years. Total of 8 years. Wow. Some people are really thinking that Mamdani is going to be in office for 8 years. My friends, as I said, I wish I could travel forward in time and see what New York City looks like in 2033. Now, let me ask you this. Are you aware of any time machine? Because I'm not. Has anyone created a time machine? Anyone you know who may have a time machine? A machine that you can, I don't know what it's going to look like. Is it going to have a door? Is it going to have a door? Like you open the door, you go into the time machine and there are controls that you press. Maybe there's like a nice big LCD screen that gives you the option to choose what year you want to travel to. Maybe you just punch in, all right, I'm going to go to 2033. And then it asks you, okay, what month of 2033? And you say, well, let's pick November. And then it says, all right, what date? And then you put, whatever, pick a date, November 10th. Is there a machine like that? Or maybe it's some different machine. I don't know. I don't know what a time machine is gonna look like. I have no idea. I've never seen one. Okay? They don't sell time machines at the department store. I haven't seen one. Maybe you have. You could go online and try to look for one, maybe order one. I don't think it exists. But if it did, if there would be a time machine, I would like to use that machine to travel forward in time to 2033. Okay? And really see what New York City looks like in 2033. Now, my only sadness is that there's no such time machine. Unless, as I said, unless you are aware of its existence somewhere. I mean, you never know. Scientists, they can do great stuff. So maybe somebody has come up with a time machine. Maybe we just don't know. But I'm not aware of one. So if you're asking me, Tausif, What will the next 8 years look like in New York City? I'm going to tell you, my friend, I don't know the answer to that. But I do know one thing. I do know one thing. And it breaks my heart that I'm having to say this. It breaks my heart that I'm having to tell you what I'm about to tell you. I do know that the road ahead for New York City is very tough. It's not going to be easy. It will never be easy. It can never be easy if you have a communist mayor in power. It can't be easy. And the people voted for this man, Zohran Mamdani. The people voted for him. They put him in this position of power. And going forward, the road ahead for New York City is tough. And the only thing I can tell you, the only thing I can tell you is that we need better education in society. Better education so that people can truly learn about socialism, people can learn about communism, and then they will realize that socialism leads to chaos. Communism leads to economic devastation and poverty and famine. We need better education in society so that people can learn how socialism and communism never lead to prosperity. My friends, when I see people cheering socialism and communism in New York City, the only conclusion that I draw is that people need more knowledge. They need more information. They need to know how harmful socialism is, how harmful communist ideology is. But if New York City voters truly get a taste of socialism, they will realize what a mistake, what a great mistake, what a serious mistake they made this November by electing Zohran Mamdani. People will realize their mistake. So regarding a prediction, I cannot predict what might happen to the New York City economy going forward. I can't make any prediction. I will not. But I do know that people are getting ready to leave. They are. They are getting ready to leave. And Florida is getting ready to welcome people. The realtors in Florida are happy because people from New York, they're packing their bags. They're going to go to Florida. They're going to buy houses and condos in Florida. They're going to buy homes in Florida. They're going to live in Florida. They're going to rent properties in Florida and Texas and Tennessee and other places. South Carolina, exactly. People are going to move to South Carolina. My friends, it's always so great. It's always so great to be doing a live stream and to see so many people tuning in, my friends. Thank you. Let me, listen, I'm not done. Every time I slow down, every time I pause, if you're thinking, all right, maybe the live stream is ending. It's not. Stay here. Stay here. My friends, I want to talk to you all. I want to see who's here. By the way, those who are watching, my friends, will you please subscribe? Are you going to hit the subscribe button? I would appreciate that very much if you just hit the subscribe button, because that's how you stay connected. And I know people ask me, and I say this every day, I think. People ask me, Tassif, how can we support your channel? Well, you can support my channel by just subscribing, liking the video, sharing the video. It's doesn't cost you anything, not a penny. Bree is here. Bree, good to see you. Thank you so very much, my friends. Okay, I'm gonna do. See, I always like to get to know my friends who are tuning in for the live streams. I want to get to know them. So how about, listen, we're gonna do this. Justin is saying Texas agrees with you. Thank you, Justin. So Justin, you're from Texas. You know, we got other friends from Texas. You see Kay Cooper, she's also from Texas. All right. Who else is here? Who else is here? All right, listen. I want to find out. Oh, Tommy Brown is here. Tommy, good to see you. Our friend Tommy Brown. Steven's here from Illinois. Steven, are you here? Are you here? Let's see. I think I saw the name. Give me a second. Steven's here from. Steven, I'm trying to read your comment. I'm trying to. I think I saw that. I just can't find it now. Steven, are you going to comment again, maybe? Just so I can greet you properly. Anyway, I'll wait. Swaggy is here. That is awesome. Swaggy is an amazing friend. Swaggy is from California. That's Colin from California. Swaggy, thank you for being here. Everyone, please say hello to our friend Swaggy. Please do that. And Steven's here from Southern Illinois. Steven, thank you for being here. Syra is from Tampa. Syra, thank you for being here, Syra. Let's see. Let me see. Anyone else here? Swaggy is asking, how am I doing? I'm doing great, Swaggy. And when we see your name pop up in the live chat, you know, at that point we're doing better because our friend Swaggy is here with us. So Swaggy, awesome to be here. Everyone, please say hello to our friend Swaggy. He came up with TTTT, which means Tossif tells the truth. Frank is here. Hello, Frank. I think I said hello to Frank. Frank was the first person who commented in the live chat today. Frank is always here to participate in the live chat. And by the way, Frank, you're from Florida. So Frank, we want to hear from you. What are you hearing from the realtors in Florida? Are they excited that they're going to get a lot of business because folks from New York are going to move to Florida? Are they happy? Oh, the real estate market in Florida, it's gotta be doing great now. All those phone calls are probably coming in. All the realtors are just answering the phones. Like, yeah, they're probably answering, hi, this is, you know, so-and-so real estate agency. How can I help you? And they say, oh, you know, I'm looking for a new house. I'm looking for a nice waterfront property in Florida because, you know, I'm packing my bags right now. I'm moving from New York to Florida. You know, I'm trying to get out of the city as soon as possible before the communist mayor gets sworn in. You know, we don't want to be paying higher taxes here. So, you know, we're getting ready to move out of New York. So can you help me find a nice property in Florida? You know, that is I think what's going on. I mean, would you disagree with me? Would you disagree? Would you say, no, that's not what's happening? Tell me. Are you in agreement with my assessment? Oh, I think people agree. Let's see. Let's see. Bree is saying, Bree from Michigan saying, I agree. Thank you. Thank you. Swaggy is saying TTTT, which is Tossif tells the truth. Thank you, Swaggy. Thank you so very much. Tommy agrees with me. Swaggy agrees. Thank you, Swaggy. Uh, all right, let's see. Kay Cooper agrees with me. Always great to see you, Kay. All right. Oh, wow. 1 hour went by. Steven's agreeing with me. Steven says agree. All right. Thank you, Steven. Appreciate that. Um, oh, Evelyn's giving me a prize. You can see those prizes. Evelyn says Tossif, and you can see the icons there. Awards, right? All right. Thank you, Evelyn. All right, my friends. So let's see who has not subscribed yet. Anyone here who has not yet subscribed? Frank says I agree. Thank you, Frank. Thank you so much. All right. Let's do something fun here. All right. By the way, I'm going to be taking questions. So if you have questions you want to ask me, please go ahead. Ask me questions. By the way, let me share with you. I think I've done this before. I'm going to share with you my website address and my email address. Okay, you can email me, you can go to my website. All right, I have pinned the message to the top of the chat screen. My website is tosifanam.net. My email address is tosif@tosifanam.net. By the way, I'm conducting a poll. It says, do you think that Zohran Mamdani will implement socialist policies in New York City? 65% said yes. Wow. More than 1,400 responses to the question. And the question is, do you think that Zohran Mamdani will implement socialist policies in New York City? And 65% said yes. Wow. So yeah, I think people strongly believe that Zohran Mamdani will implement socialist policies in New York City, and it's going to be devastating for the New York economy. Absolutely devastating for the New York economy. All right. So let's do one thing here. All right. We're going to make a little change here. It's going to be wonderful. You're going to see that change happen right now. All right. See what I changed? Okay. See what I changed? Subscriber only mode. All right. Now you can still comment. You can. All you have to do is hit the subscribe button, wait for a minute, and you can participate in the live chat. All right. Okay. Go ahead, subscribe, my friends. And you can participate in the live chat. We want people to ask me questions. Now I'm going to do the question answer phase. That's why I put it in subscriber only mode. You know why? Because those who have genuine questions, they are going to subscribe and they are going to ask me questions, and I will do my best to answer. That's the reason I put this in subscriber only mode. Okay, otherwise, we may end up getting spam comments and spam questions. And so if you're watching this and you have a question to ask, go ahead and subscribe, and I'll do my best to answer your questions. Absolutely. Let's see. Anyone? Questions? Go ahead. I see. Oh, Blackmore's here. Hello, Blackmore. Swaggy has a question. Swaggy is asking, Tossif, are you running in 2028? Well, Swaggy, 2028 is still far away. I mean, who knows? Everything, whatever God decides. Whatever God decides. So, thank you, Swaggy, for your question. I'll be able to answer that much better in the future. But thank you for your question, Swaggy. Whatever God decides, whatever God decides, whatever God decides. Thank you, Swaggy. Bree is asking, how long have you lived in Wisconsin? Many years, many years, many years. So I came to the United States in 2007. So, just do the math, I guess. All right. Swaggy says, Tossif, you have my vote. Thank you, Swaggy. I appreciate that. Thank you so very much. Tommy Brown says, Tossif, run for mayor in New York. I don't live in New York, Tommy Brown. I don't live in New York. I'm not a New Yorker. But I appreciate your enthusiasm. I don't live in New York. All right. All right. Cheryl says MAGA. Thank you for being here, Cheryl. Cheryl says MAGA. Thank you, Cheryl. Bree says, you'd get my vote, Tossif. Thank you, Bree. I appreciate it. Swaggy says, Tossif lives in the great state of Wisconsin. Absolutely. Thank you for being here, Cheryl. Who else is here? Let's see. Steve is saying Georgia needs a new senator. That is true. That is true. And Steve, you mentioned Georgia. And, I got to tell you, as soon as you mentioned Georgia, I kind of became sad again. You know why? I kind of became very sad. Because I am sad thinking how we lost 2 Senate seats in Georgia. How we lost 2 Senate seats in Georgia. I just don't understand that. We had David Perdue, Republican. We had Kelly Loeffler, Republican. In a state like Georgia, which is a Republican state. I know people call it battleground. I call it Republican. In Georgia, how did we end up going from 2 Republican senators to 2 Democrat senators, Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff? I just don't understand it. And so, who was it? Steve, you mentioned Georgia. Yes, absolutely. Georgia needs a new senator. In fact, it would be nice over the next few years to actually get 2 Republican senators elected in Georgia. That'd be great. Okay. Tangerine's here. Hi, Tangerine. Good to see you, Tangerine. Thanks for being here. So yeah, that's about Georgia. Okay. Steven's asking if the Democrats are in the minority, how are they able to shut down the government? Because 60 votes are needed in the Senate. Yes, the Democrats are in the minority, but 60 votes are needed in the Senate. Okay. So, 53 Republican senators. So if all of them vote in favor of a CR, it's still not going to be enough. We're still going to be short because you need 60 votes. So that I'm just giving you a quick version of it. I mean, we can have an hour-long, 2-hour-long conversation on this process, but it's because of that 60 vote requirement. Okay. That's how the Democrats shut it down. It's the Schumer shutdown, Chuck Schumer shutdown. All right. All right. Let's see. And any more questions for me? My friends, I'm gonna end this live stream. I'm gonna wrap it up. So if I missed your question, sometimes I take my eyes away from the live chat, so especially when I'm talking. And so if I missed your questions, I'm sorry. All right. It's so good to see you all. Great to see Tangerine. Great to see Tommy Brown and Swaggy and Evelyn and Kay Cooper and Bree and Frank and Steven and did I mention Swaggy? Yes, Swaggy and so many others. I'm sorry if I'm missing any name. I appreciate you all. Evelyn, thank you. Cheryl, thank you so very much. Everyone, thank you. So please, if you have questions, because I'm ending this live stream, if you have questions, just email me your questions. I'll try to compile a list of questions and answer them in future live streams. All right. Actually, maybe I should do just a live stream on Q&A. Maybe like people should just send me questions, 10, 20 questions. Maybe I'll try to answer them. Smith says, take care. Thank you, Smith. Maybe I'll just do a live stream, exclusive live stream, just answering questions. I could do that. Right. That'd be nice. Anyway, I'll think about it. Thank you so very much, my friends. Thank you. I appreciate you all. May God bless you all. May God bless President Donald J. Trump. May God bless the Trump administration. May God bless the Republicans in Washington. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless our U.S. allies. And may God bless freedom-loving people all over the world. Thank you so very much. Frank, Tommy, Bree, Kay Cooper, Smith, everyone, Swaggy, Tangerine, everyone. Thank you so very much. Kay says, good night, wonderful people, sweet rest. Thank you, Kay. Have a good night, everyone. Have a good night, Cheryl. Good night, Evelyn. Thank you. I'm going to be back again very soon. I appreciate you all. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, my friends. Have a wonderful night. I'm going to be back again soon. And remember, together we will make America great again. Thank you. Have a good night.